Oh, hi there. Just recently, Kanye West's 2008 improv comedy TV pilot was leaked. So let's talk about it. How it was made, why it was made, and how we found it, all while reminiscing about the good old days. A time before enjoying Kanye's music had to come with a disclaimer. Here's Kanye West's A Little Inappropriate.
I just want what everybody else wants. Control of my life.
In the mid-2000s, Kanye was almost exclusively known for his music, but after his sophomore album, Late Registration, dropped in 2005, Ye wanted to branch out into acting, having an idea for a show based on his real-life experiences, in the style of Curb Your Enthusiasm. If you don't know Curb Your Enthusiasm, it's a long-running HBO show about a semi-fictionalized version of Larry David, best known as the co-creator of Seinfeld, who plays himself. If you haven't seen the show, you have definitely heard its theme song. Basically, every episode of Curb follows the daily life of Larry David as he commits numerous faux pas and constantly antagonizing societal norms, all leading to awkward situations. Something that Kanye found very relatable. The entire series is mostly improvised, only a rough draft and a few lines are written beforehand. Kanye pitched his idea to NBC, who passed on it. Ye then took his idea to HBO, who got him in touch with Larry Charles. Just like Larry David, Larry Charles worked on Seinfeld. He had also directed Borat and produced the show Entourage. But more importantly for Kanye, Larry Charles was an executive producer and director on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Charles said, "I couldn't imagine what we had in common at all. First thing he said to me was, 'I'm the black Larry David.'" He started telling me these stories about how often he puts his foot in his mouth, how often he's apologizing like the way Larry does on the show, for saying the wrong thing or being inappropriate. How he really doesn't want to be that way, he just sort of is that way. We would go out to get a bite, and sure enough, he would say the wrong thing to the waiter, inadvertently insulting them and having to apologize. And then it would escalate. I started to see a show here. Larry Charles agreed to serve as director and took on co-executive producer responsibilities alongside Rick Rubin, Kanye, and his then manager, G. Robertson. With someone on his side with intimate knowledge of how to make the kind of show Kanye wanted, HBO gave them $400,000 and 5 days to film a pilot. For the main cast, Kanye brought on Wyatt Cenac as his cousin KC, which stands for Kanye's cousin, his manager played by JB Smoove, Kim Whitley as his mom, Leela Arceri as his girlfriend, and kind of the odd man out was rapper GLC as Kanye's bodyguard, who stuck out alongside Kanye as the only other cast member with no acting experience. Wyatt Cenac is best known for his work on The Daily Show. JB Smoove has been in a ton of great shows, but he's best known for his role in Curb Your Enthusiasm, which coincidentally started at the same time Kanye's pilot was made, and Kim Whitley has been in a ton of TV shows, previously playing an escort in Curb Your Enthusiasm that Larry picks up so he can use the carpool lane. But knowing that he had little acting experience, in preparation for the role, Kanye took improv lessons from Matt Besser, the co-founder of UCB. He knew he wasn't a great improviser, and tried to make up for it by emulating Jerry Seinfeld's philosophy of surrounding himself with better talent. They handed HBO a 60-minute cut of A Little Inappropriate. The episode followed a day in the life of Kanye, his paranoia over bad breath, attending a CD signing with overly enthusiastic fans, Kanye watching the trailer for Mission Impossible and meeting Tom Cruise, obviously played by a lookalike, and a scene with Kanye meeting a fan from the Make-A-Wish Foundation, who he mistakenly thinks is terminally ill. Most of the comedy came from Kanye's crew, with Ye himself playing the straight man, and I don't think I have to tell you how insane this is. The 60-minute cut was interwoven with interviews by people like Nelson George, Professor Boyce Watkins, and Cornel West, talking about Kanye's influence as an artist. An unbelievable level of narcissism, perfectly fitting of Kanye West. HBO did not approve the 60-minute cut, and a 30-minute edit was made, removing the interviews. I'm sure they had to cut just more than the interviews, like no way half of the runtime was just celebrities praising Kanye. It seems that HBO still weren't happy with the show, trying to work it out as late as August 2008 based on some anonymous sources from Entertainment Weekly and MTV. One key insider said that HBO is now looking for a writer and some creative inspiration before moving forward with the project. We need to figure out how to capture Kanye in the right way. Anything that allows him to gas on about his many talents should do the trick. But Larry Charles seemed less optimistic about the future of the show. From a September 30th, 2008 article, Charles said, "I think it was too hardcore for HBO. But HBO doesn't have a good track record when it comes to black shows. HBO
Doesn't care about black people.
This was very entertaining and we showed it to a lot of people. The management shifted to HBO, so we're waiting to see how she responds to it." In the same interview, Charles said at this point the show didn't have a name, so it seems like A Little Inappropriate maybe wasn't the final title, it might have just been a placeholder. But Kanye does refer to it as A Little Inappropriate in later interviews. But not too long after this September interview with Larry Charles, A Little Inappropriate was quietly cancelled. HBO has not commented on the show since 2008. They seem to have no interest in officially releasing either version of the pilot. For the longest time, only a few minutes of the pilot made its way online. A 4-minute clip was posted to YouTube in 2010 as part of Allison Quinn's acting reel, but wasn't noticed until July 2013 when Gawker published an article calling the pilot horrible. A week after the Gawker article, on July 22nd, 2013, Wyatt Cenac screened the 30-minute cut during his stand-up show. He didn't have HBO's approval, thus it was unannounced. He would interrupt the screening to make commentary and provide background information on the project. For some reason, Questlove from The Roots was there, commenting on the video too, but really all he said was, interesting. Cenac pointed out that too much of the story was offloaded onto everyone around Kanye, and that Ye lacked confidence in his improv skills. The consensus was, not enough Kanye, and they proceeded to pare it down. The resulting 30-minute cut has Kanye on camera for most of it, and yet still delivers not enough Kanye, since he left himself with not much to do. Cenac recalls how GLC refused to wear makeup, and only relented on the condition that it was never called makeup, insisting instead on player powder. Cenac said about the unauthorized screening, "I figured if I did it as a surprise, there's nothing HBO could do about it, except for keep me out of HBO shows, which they're already doing." This is the same Wyatt Cenac of Wyatt Cenac's Problem Areas on HBO. After the screening, Gawker issued a retraction of their first article. An apology is in order. Kanye West's ill-fated Curb Your Enthusiasm clone isn't horrible. Tonight, the full half-hour version was screened before a small audience. It was one of the most batshit crazy, wonderful pieces of television you can't imagine. Even though this screening was held, only 17 seconds of it were leaked, where you can hear the cameraman being told to stop recording. But in this short clip, we can hear what's believed to be the first canonical usage of Kanye East.
No, Kanye East. Who you think I'm talking about?
Predating the doppelganger meme by many years. With the pilot episode in the news, Larry Charles talked about his vision for the show if HBO had picked it up. The hope was we'd follow him around, be able to shoot a lot of verite stuff like award shows, blur that line between the fiction and reality. He then told a story about running into Kanye on a plane. "I hadn't seen him in quite a few years. We hugged and hung out and talked on the plane. This was before the election, and he was talking about being for Romney and all this crazy stuff, in his Kanye way of being provocative. And then he started talking to me about his new company he wanted to start, Donda Communications, named after his mother. He wants to be Kanye, media mogul. He wanted to show me his website. He was proud of it. It's incredibly elaborate, but communications was spelt wrong. No one in his world had told him. That's Kanye. Very ambitious, very smart, but somewhat insulated from the world." We would have to wait another 10 years before the next update into Kanye's foray into improv comedy, when on June 18th, 2023, Reddit user Sam Vision posted the lost pilot to r/goodass-sub. They came across the episode on the Vimeo account of Larry Charles, who had posted it just a few days prior and accidentally left it public. Once the discovery was made, the video was reprivatized, but it was too late. The internet already got a hold of it, and you could find the full pilot on YouTube. And the show does not disappoint. The pilot is bookended with a vocalization from Kanye that kind of serves as the intro. In the first scene, Kanye and his crew are packed in a van with a goofy wide-angle lens showing all the characters. Ye is just staring at the camera as everyone around him is on their phone or yelling at each other. The driver's lost and doesn't seem to know who Martin Luther King Jr. is, and Kanye tells him that's almost as bad as saying the N-word. The driver then drops a hard R, which is not well received.
I don't know, we're on Boulevard.
What are you saying?
What does that street sign say to you?
It says.
It says to me, this white driver gonna get his ass whooped in about 5 seconds.
In the next scene, Kanye's at a signing event, clearly overwhelmed by the chaos, while an altercation between Ye, his crew, and an overzealous fan who gives Ye his mixtape and tries to rap at him. The scene features Anne-Marie Lindblom in costume from her web series, Two Peas in Your Pod. In Rhythmic Reasons Kanye Iceberg Part 3, he got an interview with Lindblom where she details her efforts to get Kanye in her show and ending up getting a part in Kanye's show. After the signing, Kanye and his posses go to a hotel that Ye insists he's never been to before, cutting to a flashback of Kanye in the hotel. Back in the present day, the whole crew is in an elevator, each having their own song playing in their head, and we get a brief cameo of Jeff Garlin, one of the lead actors on Curb Your Enthusiasm. For the last 10 minutes of the episode, Kanye goes to meet a kid through the Make-A-Wish Foundation, based on a real experience he had.
This Make-A-Wish kid, and he said, "Has it ever been anyone you ever wanted to meet that you got to meet?" And I was like, "Oh, the other day I met Tom Cruise," and he was like, oh man, I didn't think of him. But he wasted his wish on me.
During the incredibly awkward conversation, the kid says that Ye's music is just okay, and that he is a better lyricist, breaking into a freestyle, and Kanye accompanies him on a toy xylophone. After some bars, the kid says they should make a song together. Kanye says that he can't say no to a Make-A-Wish kid, bringing up that the kid is gonna die soon, but finds out the kid isn't gonna die, having made a miraculous recovery after a little girl in a car crash gave him a donor heart. The Make-A-Wish representative goes on a long diatribe about the little girl. After learning that the kid isn't gonna die, Kanye leaves without agreeing to do a song, and the kid yells, "You suck," as Ye leaves. In the middle of this nonsense, there's a flashback about Kanye agreeing to record a song for Mission Impossible 3. He's watching the trailer and said he's not going to do it because it looks so bad. But Tom Cruise shows up, played by a stand-in, who is way taller than Tom Cruise actually is, and convinces him to do the song. In real life, Kanye did do a song for Mission Impossible 3. It's honestly pretty bad. Man, in this flashback, Kanye seems to be doing an allusion to the Hitler meme.
It's no, 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 9.
That one didn't age quite so well.
Back with the Make-A-Wish kid, he says he should have bet with Tom Cruise instead of Kanye.
Oh, man. I ain't think of him.
The episode ends with the crew cramming in an elevator with Jeff Garlin. All in all, this show is wild. It makes pretty creative usage of Kanye's beats throughout, and it features some other great music by artists like Pink Floyd and Madonna, but this might have just been a placeholder and they would have had to have changed it later due to rights issues. But the entire time, you get to see he's holding back laughter and spends way too much time staring directly into the camera. Like, that is his reaction to everything. And he ends up not really doing much. Even the Make-A-Wish kid has more dialogue than Ye. He was really hoping to rely on the strong actors around him. Even some of the minor characters went on to score big roles. The one who stuck out to me was Paula Newsome. She played Detective Janice Moss in Barry and was the MIT rep from Spider-Man No Way Home. It took me so long to realize where I knew her from. Kanye does have a couple of funny lines.
I can protect myself around the Make-A-Wish kid. I could whoop the Make-A-Wish kid's ass. What up to all the dying kids?
But I feel like they should have written him more dialogue and let everyone else around him improvise. To me, the pilot is a really perfect example of Kanye's ego, seeing a show like Curb Your Enthusiasm and thinking, I could do that, ignoring that Larry David is a veteran comedian, writer, and improviser who created one of the most critically acclaimed sitcoms of all time. Kanye just seemed in over his head the whole time. So on the lost media side of things, we have the 30-minute cut, but we still don't have the hour-long version.
God, please, no!
But based on everything we know about it, it seems like the version we have is the best parts. And the craziest thing is that this is not the only lost, unaired TV pilot from Kanye West. But I think Alligator Boots will have to wait for another day. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please consider clicking the like button and subscribing to the channel. If this video does well, I'll make one on Alligator Boots. This is Mike with All Things Lost. See you soon.